Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigor Mortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the Stand Evil.
And I'm the Gamer in Yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. And tonight we have Kisaragi Station Part 2.
So which one is this a parody of?
So last week we did Kisaragi Station, like the original 2chan postings and stuff like that. And then while I was reading that one, I discovered from the Kawabano website, which is the website it's a website that translates Japanese horror stories and ghost stories into creepypastas, and like compiles them and like talks about them and stuff. It's basically it's like a fan site devoted to Japanese horror. And they found, apparently, like after the original posting of Kisaragi Station on 2chan, and the original poster disappeared, several others came forward stating that they had also found the eponymous station. And the following story that we're covering today was by a poster who tweeted their experience on Twitter.
On Twitter.
Yeah. Rather than on 2chan. And the user's name was by a Curran. And so, yeah. Also, I want to bring up some things from that we discovered last time. So, Gamer, you said you brought up that there's a game on Steam called like Ghost Train that might have something to do with Kisaragi Station. And yes, I watched a Let's Play of the game by Gab Smolders, and at first I wasn't sure it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be, again, another Japanese Ghost Train like video game, or like ghost story kind of thing. Because again, ghost trains in Japan, like I've heard a lot of I've heard here and there stories about those. And I didn't think it was going to have tied to Kisaragi Station until like the second half of the game, when you end up in Kisaragi Station. So, yeah, I was like, I immediately texted Gamer. I was like, oh my god, this game is actually Kisaragi Station. So,
visually, was it what you imagined through reading the first story?
Honestly, yeah. It's a rural, like it's like an old abandoned rural train station. Like it's a platform, like a cement platform, like next to the tracks, with like a small like outbuilding, sort of like where like the station building kind of thing is. And the only thing that I think it was a very dark, kind of like closed in area, which, I mean, that's just the game level, but like it does kind of encapsulate the whole like this lonely, dark, abandoned rural train station, or train junction. So. So that was, and that game was by Chilla's Art, which I have also fallen down a rabbit hole of checking out their stuff. They're like a 2-person game studio in Japan who just are devoted to making Japanese horror, like based on urban legends and creepy stuff, or like creepy stories and such.
It's always nice when a small like team of developers can do really good shit like that.
Yeah, and they've got a pretty decent following. As like, again, I followed like a rabbit hole of Gab Smolder videos, who like she Let's Plays a bunch of them because she's huge into like Japanese horror games. And I've like since then, like I've also like I've started following Chilla's Art on like Instagram and Twitter and Itch.io.
Really got down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Again, like I just started following yokai apparently all week. Like just looking at a bunch of Japanese horror stuff, so which is a fitting, because like this is the last week of anime, so, but may not be the end of our hike into creepy Japanese urban legends and creepypastas. We shall see what we can find up in the next couple of months. But that's enough digressing. I shall move on to the actual rundown for Kisaragi Station Part 2.
Oh, right. Yeah, we should probably talk about that.
Yeah, we had to get a little bit of a preamble going before we go into the rundown for this one. So yeah, like I said, this popped up, I think around 2011 on Twitter by the user Byakuran, and we are using we read the story that was presented on Kawabana website. Like they translated the audio, or they translated the audio. They translated the tweets because the original Twitter poster, which you can actually like there's a link to that person, and like I went on there and it's like, oh yeah, they're a Japanese Twitter user, so it's all in Japanese. But getting down to the rundown, Byakuran begins posting on his Twitter after he realizes that the train he's on may not be the right one he was supposed to be on. He was staring at his phone for a very long time, as people do nowadays, just nose deep into their phones, and realized everyone was gone and they were on the last stop of the train, which, according to the announcer on the train, was Kisaragi Station. And it wasn't the usual female voice that says each station as they come to the stops. It was a different voice. It was a male voice that said Kisaragi Station. But Byakuran gets off the train. It leaves, and then they realize they're stuck in a dark, abandoned train station. And they're posting this like on their Twitter and stuff like that, and like just basically updating constantly. Their GPS doesn't function. Whenever they try to call with their actual like phone, no one replies to the calls, even when they get through. They have a full charge of their battery, but their phone is acting kind of weird and wonky. Like whenever they try to take a photo of anything in the train station, the camera says that, or the phone says that there's not enough memory, no matter what they like delete off the phone to like make memory. The only window back to reality, it seems, is their Twitter handle. So that's why they're posting all this stuff. It's here after like doing a bunch of posts that there's just a barrage of commenters and posters. One of which is even Byakuran's girlfriend. Giving them advice and like trying to help them out, especially when Kisaragi Station is mentioned in his postings, because as the previous story or the previous set of posts is out there at this point and known, kind of grounding it in our reality. Like it's like, no, this is something online. Like when you look up Kisaragi Station, this comes up. Here's a link to it if you want to check it out. Like this is where you're stuck. Sir. Like there's even a posting, like even a link to a Japanese website that has the original, the old posts, the old 2chan posts on it. So, which Byakuran eventually does read and freaks out over because fuck, he's in that same situation now. Byakuran ultimately stays at the station rather than like walking down the tracks and such, reporting off and on things around the dark space. He appears to be losing himself to the place as well, like forgetting his name and getting very tired all the time. People try to help him out, like telling him to stay away from like the tunnels, and like find some piece of paper to burn to try and like cleanse it, or like that's apparently by like taking a piece of paper and burning it, and like the smoke will allow you to leave the area. But he doesn't have anything to burn, like he can't find a lighter or anything like that. And he just gets very tired, and eventually he gives into the sleep, despite a lot of the people like warning him about it or warning him against it. And he wakes up in a normal station in Tokyo. However, all the posts on his Twitter are still there, and it did all actually happen. It was not merely a dream. And that was Byakuran's encounter with Kisaragi Station. So, next up, I suppose, it's mandatory at this point.
It really is.
Everyone tolerates the Grammar Inquisitions. I've got a few, because how dare this story, this series of Twitter posts have typos.
Right.
Yeah. Again, I'm being critically silly here. Full disclosure, my
Never
grammar
would've
acquisition
noticed.
my grammar acquisition is going to be very critically silly because like Twitter posts. I mean, people. I am a huge offender of like typos in Twitter posts. So, but now I'll just continue on. So at Hattie000, right now it's 10 p.m. in Japan. Sorry, I'm also don't follow you on Twitter. I think it should be sorry, I also don't follow you on Twitter. Just get rid of that I'm.
Why was he saying sorry anyways?
Just like I don't know, like that. It's a couple of people like bring that up. It's like, sorry, I'm not I don't follow you. But here's some like maybe it's just like a curtsy or like a just something like these people are like, kind of being awfully polite for the internet. Of like, sorry, I'm just a rando. Or like maybe it's like an apologetic. I was just like, sorry, I don't know you. I'm just like a random stranger that's like that's seen your Twitter feed. It's currently 10 p.m. in Japan, so like it shouldn't be 12 o'clock in Japan. 12 o'clock where you are. Which actually, yeah, like that. I should have prefaced that in the rundown. I apologize. Time is different in Kisaragi Station than apparently the rest of the world, or normal Japan, because the time there's like some kind of time dilation going on. But yeah, I'll move on to the next one. This is from @Byakurin. My phone suddenly died, and I thought I would too. Eventually, thought I turned the. Oh, even thought I. Okay, you know what? This might not be a typo, but I'm going to continue on. Even thought I turned the notifications off. I'm still getting them. I originally kind of thought that it should be even though I turned the notifications off, I'm still getting them.
That's what it should be.
Okay, yeah, but like rereading it, I like even thought I had turned the notifications off. I'm still getting
Wouldn't it be
them.
I even thought I turned those off? If that was
Yeah,
the
but
case?
I mean, the thing with Twitter is like you only have a certain amount of characters you can use. So like sometimes you will like shortcut a sentence.
Did
In
anyone
whatever
do
way
a
you can.
count to see if any of these messages are over the actual amount that Twitter can handle?
No, but like when you get kind of stuck in a routine where you have to like watch your character count, sometimes you just go into like shorthand.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, how dare Byakurin and the other poster on Twitter have typos? I mean, it's unforgivable. It's really unforgivable. They deserve to be
totally.
in Kisaragi Station.
Definitely.
Yeah. But that's the end of my grammar inquisition. So, Mikey, the E stands for evil.
Hi. So, just like last time, this is all dialogue.
Yeah.
So, I give it a pass.
But for the lulls.
But for the laws, I have a conjunction junction.
Sorry, for the lulls. And that will come up later in the story. or that's a reference to the story that we have here. So, and next stop, conjunction junction. Doot, doot.
It's only 8 p.m. It's weird that no one's here. It was working fine today, and even after deleting some photos, it's still not working. It could be people. It's an abandoned train station? It doesn't matter what. But is there any graffiti around? It's Japanese, but it's not Japanese. It's creeping me out. I don't want to look at it anymore. It's round. It's just past 10 p.m. It all feels so impersonal. And don't go near that tunnel. or get in any strangers' cars. But things haven't been going so well for me lately anyway. Maybe I'd be happier if I disappeared. But, I'm not bitching about my phone telling me I don't have enough memory to take photos and forcibly closing hashtag as I bitch. It's 11:36 p.m. here, and I'm in Odawara Station now. It wasn't a dream. Finn.
Wow. That is.
I like the one part where you're like, I don't want to look at it anymore. It's round. Like the fact that it's round is the reason he doesn't want to look at it anymore.
Yeah, it's like, how dare. It's Japanese, but it's not Japanese. It's creepy. I don't want to look at it anymore. It's round. Oh man, yeah, no, that's like you like just going with like any sentence that had it stories or like it sentences in it, or any sentence that has it's at the beginning of it, like you just filtering it that way made this even more like kind of chaotic energy than it already was too, but like streamlined it even further.
Pretty much. And for those unaware, Mikey does these strings of sentences into a story to highlight all the sentences in the story that start with words that they probably shouldn't, like it's, ands, or buts, because there's always better words.
We can't excuse them when it's in dialogue and Twitter postings.
Mostly.
Because that's just life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I suppose next up is Gamer.
Q. For me? Let's
Do you have
see.
another 3-hour-long grammar inquisition?
No, I figured I'd go easy on this one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
A couple here that I just don't like the formatting of it, because it probably wouldn't be formatted like this.
Mm-hmm.
These are both messages from Byakuran. First one is, no one's here, and the ticket gate doesn't open. What the hell is this? So, I don't really think someone would take the time to type it out like that on their phone, being like N, and then tab over to the special characters, hit dash, back to letters, N, back to special characters, dash, back to letters, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Like, considering he's actually unsure of where he is at this point and doesn't know what's going on, and he's scared, I doubt he would take the time to type it out like that, even for the jokiness of it.
I will say, like, there's a couple of times in the story where he felt like Byakuran was being very theatrical with his like, with the way he was like presenting some of his like his posts, like this one specifically. Like, yeah, like I could see somebody doing it like flowery like this for like a joke, but like when you're actually in that situation, I doubt you would do that.
No, hell no.
It would be way more clear and crisp, like no, this can't be. Like, no, this can't be. That's it.
Yeah, and my second grammar is basically the same sort of thing, where it's sleepy, ellipses, I can't, ellipses, I can't, ellipses, sorry, thanks everyone.
Yeah, it sounds like he's doing dialogue more than like doing a Twitter post.
At this point, if he's literally falling asleep, he wouldn't take the time to like retype words or anything, or put all these damn ellipses in just to make it dramatic.
Yeah, if anything, like we might have even more typos because he's like flubbing his his typing because he's being sleepy.
The lack of typos is a typo.
Immersion broken because of the
pretty
lack
much.
of typos. Yeah.
This is one of the few times where I want more typos in my story.
God, what dark world do we're and that's when Gamer in Yellow just realized he was in the 2D world. The typo.
I don't know what that means.
When he realized he was in the typo world.
No. Yeah, that's about all I got, really.
Okay.
I'm sure there's other instances of that, but those are the only two that I wrote down.
Yeah. yeah, like I went through and like there's I kind of ignored a lot of the stuff like shit. Like I'm looking at I have one for my actual thought like that's coming up. It's like shit. Like just I. It's 11 p.m. Or like where the hell is Kisaragi Station? Lol. Like there's a lot of uses of like just like he's just using lol a couple of times in the story and just like why. But I don't know. Again, maybe it's something like that carried over from the translation. Like maybe this is something that Japanese kids nowadays do on Twitter. Like it's something with the kanji. I don't know.
No idea.
Like something to do with like their characters, like how they translate over, or like how they when they're typing on like with Twitter with their characters, it's different. I don't know.
I mean, people would type like that even in English. It's just
yeah,
whether or not it's suitable for Twitter through a phone.
Yeah. Like we were bitching previously about like it's like maybe they're watching their like their character count. Meanwhile, there's like an L. There's a lol here that has like there's a 15 O L LOL here.
Yeah, that seemed weird.
Yep. Also, 15 O LOL was the name of my vaporwave band, but
excellent.
But yeah, we should move on to actual thoughts then. So starting with this one here, this is by @Byakuran. Huh? Did I get on the wrong train? Shit! I was playing with my phone, but when I looked up, everyone was gone. Looked like that was the final stop, so I got off. Seems I really did take the wrong train. Lol. No way. The station is pitch black. Wasn't it just 8 o'clock? Shit. It's 11 p.m. Just how addicted am I to my phone? Where the hell is Kisaragi Station? Lol. The announcement was a female voice all this time. But then I heard a male voice saying the next station is Kisaragi. When I looked up, here I was. Both the station clock and my phone say 11 p.m. Then the next thing is at Akatsuki Yumi, the poster's girlfriend, it says in brackets. It's only 8 p.m. What are you saying? So I wanted to get that whole thing there because I'm guessing that similar to the 2chan postings from the previous Kisaragi Station story that we read on the Kawabana website, they bunched up a bunch of dialogue from the same poster or from the same like source. Yeah. So like a bunch. These are a bunch of separate tweets by Curran that have just been compiled in under his name, basically, and probably just divided by like they separated by the line, like the next line down. And I don't hate it. Like it's a little bit more confusing now. Because for some reason I just kept thinking it was like all in one Twitter posting. Is like there's no way that's enough. There's no way that's all that's less than 190 characters or whatever it is nowadays. But like looking back at it now, it's like I feel like this is one of those cases where maybe like have some kind of other type of like dividing or like separating means. Like it doesn't have to be like @Byakuran. Did I get on the wrong train? @Byakuran. Shit, I was playing @Byakuran. Lol, no way the station is pitch black. like that kind of thing. Like no, I don't mean like just like use like the Twitter handle like every time, but like maybe like I don't know, a dividing line or something.
There'd be so many dividing lines.
I know, but
it would look like lined paper.
I don't know. Am I crazy here? Like, I feel like I'm also like reversing what I said last week, where I was for it with 2chan people, but like here it's a little bit more confusing. I don't know. Like,
I personally didn't have a problem with it because anytime it switches user, it gives you the @ So because there's this huge list of Byakuran, and there is a single space after each line, it's all like spaced down, so each one is its own Twitter post. It made sense to me personally.
Yeah. You know what? I was also going by my what I had copied from the website. I'm looking at the website again to refresh, and you know what? There is actually proper spacing between each of the lines that are separate handles or like separate postings. Like even when like it goes down like a line because it's too long, the sentence was too long or the line was too long, it's still like you can still see the separation space. You know what? I'm going to revoke my my issue with this then, because the website does a good job of formatting it. So,
you could give it extra space to be sure, though. That wouldn't make it worse.
No, it would definitely it couldn't hurt the system. So, however, that wasn't the only reason I brought up this this quote. I suppose this does confirm. So looking at this posting and hearing what, getting some of the detail we get from by Kieran about the train and stuff. I suppose this does confirm at least the train by Kieran was on either doesn't have any signage or maps of stations that are showing up, and doesn't actually use like a speaker system to announce various stops along the way along its rail line.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's no signage. It just means that there's also that.
Yeah, but I mean, we were talking. It was like when we were talking about last week. It was like we weren't 100% sure, and it's like, I don't know. I don't think they do have station stops on trains. I think like they just like notify you from like some like a voice like says like what the next station's going to be, and you have to catch it, and otherwise or like you'll see it. Well, actually, no. I think because again, I'm basing it also on some gameplay from that Ghost Train game, but like you can see, like I think a lot of it, like they rely on like looking out at the station as it approaches, like to see like the signage from cause, like there's always. I even remember like when I was like on subway stations down in Toronto, in the different like subway stations, they have like massive signage on the walls that say like what station you're arriving at, and it's in plain view of the subway windows. So, and I cannot remember if on the subways themselves if you had a like map of like where you were going. I think a couple of them did, but I can't be 100%.
You do on subways, yeah.
On subways, yeah, but trains are different.
Trains are different, yeah. Most of the time, you just get the actual announcement and
you have to
the signage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Based on my own train going in Europe.
You own a train?
They don't have. Yeah.
Yeah, he just owns a train now. Okay, that's part of the lore.
Yep, it's the Horror Express.
I see.
But yeah, subways are more likely to have actual maps because it's usually you have to get off at certain ones to catch a connecting subway. So,
well, then I wonder if that's also the case in Japan, because like the trains there are not like they're kind of like subways, because like it's basically the public transportation that everyone uses to get like from point A to point B. Like so, yeah. Anyway, yeah. I guess I'm just prolonging this conversation about how do trains work. But at least this story, like these Twitter postings, like did kind of give us a little bit more like details about the train. Like there's a female voice that says like what station's coming up, and then in this case, a different voice said Kisaragi station. So
yeah, there's something compared to nothing being said.
Yeah, exactly. Giving a little bit more context clues about the situation. And finally, my last comment on this part is I like that this place is displaced, not just in space. Like Kisaragi Station is not just a liminal space, like where it's separate geographically, or like it doesn't exist geographically in the normal world, but it also apparently has some kind of time dilation, which just adds even more otherworldliness to it. for me. Like it's something, it's slightly out of phase both with in space and time, with regular Earth. And that's whether or not that's like it's in another dimension, like science fiction wise, or it's like it literally is on the border between like life and hell, or like Earth and hell. Which seems to be kind of the growing consensus online of Kisaragi Station, is that it's basically the train station to hell.
Oh, okay, so it's like in limbo.
Yeah, hence why Kisaragi means like it's kanji can mean demon or oni. So it is the demon station. But yeah, I'll move on to my next comment here. So starting with this quote here. So this is at Inasumkite. Calm down. Are you really at Kisaragi Station? At Byakuran. I have no idea. I think so, but I can't say for certain. Like, there's no sign or anything. Jin Kudasai. Can you see this link? And then there's a link to nazolog.com, blog entry 2918 .html by Kieran. I had a quick look, but I got on at Odakyu, and we've gone past the last stop. So, God, I would be. I know I'd be terrified, or at least like really creeped out in this situation were it me and not Byakuran. Like if I was in Byakuran's shoes, I would be entirely terrified and creeped out by the situation like I'd find myself in. But I'd also be super jazzed about ending up in a creepypasta location.
Of course you
or like
would.
Like if I gotta go, then I want to go out that way. Like I want to go out at a creepypasta location or an urban legend location. Mm-hmm. Like I do like like I say as I plan on going to the location on Google Maps in West Virginia where Iker Falls is sometime this summer. So, but yeah, I also like the reference to the previous story, especially the way it is referenced, like, and the reaction we get over the course of the story. Like, it felt rather realistic and natural, which I guess it is, since that series of postings, this series of postings on Twitter and that series of postings on the 2chan did actually happen, and people reacted as such, like in reality. I also, that's where the blog entry link that you get. I did click on it. It does take you to a Japanese website that has the original 2chan postings, like, copied to it. But yeah, can you just imagine being in poor Byakuran in this situation? Like, hey, do you say Kisaragi Station? Check out this link, and then like you're Byakuran, and he's like, all right, I'll take a look at it, and then like. Because later on, he takes a look at it and he's like, he starts crying because he's like, oh shit, I'm in this situation that this person was also in, and this can't be real. This is a fucking like urban legend. What the fuck? Also, I Google mapped it, and Odakyu is it could be a couple of places in and around Tokyo. Like, Googling it, it looks like it's like a whole train line called Odakyu, and there's several stations and like shops along the train line that it stops at that are also called like Odakyu and then like something else. So, wherever he actually got off, it's somewhere in Tokyo for like the geography of it.
Mm-hmm.
In the real world, anyway. And on to my next one. This is at Firefly Natsu.
Actually, before
I
you
don't
continue,
follow. Oh, yeah,
in regards to that other website that he was linked to, like,
yes,
I went there and it's literally all Japanese, so I didn't understand what it was. How did you gather that it was the previous entry's information?
I used the Google Translate.
Okay, that'll do it. So is it literally the actual previous story that we read?
I think I'm pretty sure it is. It's at least at the very least a variant of it. Give me a second while I pull it up again. English. Yeah. Yeah. So when you pull it up, there at the very top, why don't you collect scary stories that are not? Oh, hang on. This is weird. I pulled it up last night, and I was pretty sure I saw like the first part of Kisaragi Station, like the entry that we saw earlier. But now that I'm Google translating it again, it's a different list.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be a bunch of like Japanese scary stories. So it's very possible that, like, that link when Byakuren got it, it took him to the old Kisaragi Station postings.
Maybe.
Shoot. Sorry about that. Might have been me fabricating a shotgun here.
It's been a little while.
It's been a while. Like, it seems like a lot of it's like all the articles are like creepy, like stuff, like spooky things. So
I'm sure it is, just whether or not it is the exact same one.
I thought I saw Kisaragi Station on here, or like, honestly, what I thought I saw when I did the Google map with the Google Translate last night was the thread that the original Kisaragi Station came from, like that transcript. What the heck was it called? It was like, what was that article called? Hang on a second. I thought I read post about strange occurrences around you, thread 26. I thought I had read that, and that's what I. That was enough for me. I was like, okay, cool. That's where that's. So, whoops. At the same time, though, like, that's the last thing you want to see is like a website full of creepy, like, urban legend shit.
Yeah.
When you're stuck at a creepy urban legend place. But was there anything else you wanted to bring up there?
That's about it.
Okay. But yeah, I'll move on to the next thing then. So this is at Firefly Natsu. I don't follow you, sorry, but to the best of my knowledge, Kisaragi Station sits on the border of our world and the next. If you follow the tracks, you'll come across a certain tunnel called Karasu, which leads to the other world. You mustn't go in. I heard this from one of my followers, but apparently, if you set some paper on fire, you'll be able to return. Do you have a lighter? Ah, sounds like Crazy Joe has follows Firefly Natsu. That was a callback to last week when we were talking about like how like the one guy who had all the knowledge about like how to escape, but like he's presented in like he's either bogged down by all the weird posts, or he doesn't say something directly.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Future Cultist here. I just want to clarify something that we fucked up this episode and last episode. We kept calling him Crazy Joe, but it's actually Crazy Ralph from Friday the 13th that we were referencing. And yeah, so I'll just leave this here.
Also, it's interesting that the tunnel name is different in this one rather than like in the previous one. I think it was like
Isanuki Tunnel.
Isanuki, yeah. So yeah, and this one's called Karasu. So maybe like this is my idea for this. Like maybe the reason why like because it says in this like in the original story, it seemed at least that when the girl went through that tunnel, like she ended up back in the real world and just then got taken by got a fake out horror ending.
Mm-hmm.
And she was being sent back to the mountains. Whereas this one's called Karasu, and like we got a little bit more information about it. Like, do not go into this tunnel because if you do, you'll end up leading straight to the other world or like hell. So I wonder if like this is like the tunnel on the other in the other direction of the tracks to the ones from the previous story. So it's like on the other side of the station, the other tunnel.
Maybe.
Like one goes to Earth,
Maybe.
one might lead you to Earth, one definitely leads you to hell.
But if you're saying that this is the other tunnel, then that would be the good one. If the previous tunnel was the one that went to hell.
Yeah. Maybe. Oh no, I mean like, well, technically they both end up going to hell because there was a fake out in the last one in the last story. Maybe there is just no way of getting out aside from like burning some paper.
Well, I'm just saying, like the train track is a line. You can go two ways on it. If both of them are a tunnel with different names, do both of them just go to hell regardless, or?
Well, yeah, because like in our world, yeah, like one goes the opposite way than the other one. But since this place is like on the border between worlds, it might be one of those like liminal spaces where it doesn't matter which tunnel you go through, you're fucked either way. Like once you pass through that tunnel the first time, like when the train shows up, when the train pops in, you are now fucked in this zone because it doesn't matter which tunnel. Even if you backtrack and go through the tunnel that you came through, you're still going to hell. Like you can enter, you can't leave. Like that kind of weird liminal space.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does seem like in this story, staying put was actually the good call for Byakuran. Moving on to my next thing here. So at Byakuran, I don't have a lighter. I'm thirsty. I'm gonna go back to the vending machine. Grizzly 325. You should try not to eat or drink anything from there. Byakuran. Oh, yeah. I saw something like that in a horror game I was playing not too long ago. You couldn't consume anything from that place you were in. And to that, I was like, yeah, that is a big no-no across the board. Just like, and globally, when it comes to like folklore, like, do not consume food or drink from the realm of the supernatural that you've happened to slip into. Because
really?
In folklore, like, at least in some folklore that I've read recently, you don't want to eat the food or drink the wine or drink the drinks in like the Fey realms or in the spirit world, because doing so gives them power over you. It helps, like, basically it kind of helps seal your fate being stuck in that location.
Oh, okay. I was not aware.
Yeah,
I just found it kind of weird that he dropped like, hey, this video game knowledge, I should totally use that knowledge because it's totally real, even though it's from a video game. And why would you use that information in a real life situation?
I mean, a bunch of Chilla's Arts video games are fairly accurate to like Japanese ghost stories and urban legends. So
fair, but what I'm saying, like, if this is meant to be in real life, bringing up parallels to fictional things like video games kind of pulls it further out of immersion.
Maybe.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, like, to our minds, yeah, but maybe like I don't know, maybe there's like a different like precedence, or there's like maybe a stronger tie between urban legends and video game stuff. I don't know. I get what you're saying though. Like, yeah, like, it's like, why, like, it's like, oh yeah, I saw it in the video game once. I shouldn't eat the turkey behind the wall in Castlevania.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't eat that green mushroom in Mario. Or is it the purple mushroom that makes you? Yeah, it's the purple mushroom. I think that is poison mushroom in the
green one is a 1-up, which is the very good one.
Is the best one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, generally in folklore, you don't want to eat the food from the spirit world because it's not going to end well for you. It's you get the bad end when you do that.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Yeah. But moving on to the next thing here. So this is at Madoka 0207. You shouldn't go through the tunnel. Wow, sorry, I had to burp. You won't be able to come. You won't be able to come back. If you're really at Kisaragi Station, do you have any paper or something? Take heart. at by Kieran. Oi, Kisaragi State. Oi, prick! suddenly this is in the tube in Britain.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's like, or maybe it's we. But yeah, it's like, oi, Kisaragi Station was just a joke. Hooray! So where the hell am I? Shit, I'm tired. And so at this point, I was like, wait, what is he? At this point, I was like wondering, it's like, is Byakuran just kind of going into denial here? It's like ha ha ha, this can't be real. This is like Kisaragi Station's just a joke. Ha ha ha. Lol. Like, because throughout the course of the story, or throughout the course of the postings, it does seem like Byakuran is kind of, he likes to like try to make light of his situation by like adding the lols and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and actually, that's my next thing I have to bring up is at Byakuran, I'm getting so many notifications that I can't use my phone anymore. So please refrain for a bit, please. I mean, could someone just tell me what the hell I'm supposed to do? So, yeah, this count, like over the course of the story, it's to me it felt much more chaotic. In the like the way Byakuran's comments and his postings are sort of just all over the place. Like, at least it seemed to me he was trying to make light of his situation with all the lulls and like sporadic like mentions of like this is a joke, or like this can't be real, like kind of thing. Like maybe he's just in denial. But then like a bunch of his like his dialogue, a bunch of his posts are just kind of like rando, like super random to me. And it felt way more chaotic than the previous like postings from Hatsumi talking to the strangers on 2chan. But this is also his like own personal account, so like he's maybe just like used to like lighthearted, like just kind of like throwing this kind of lingo out, or this kind of attitude out there online.
Mm-hmm.
And going to the part of like all the notifications, I do like how we get like kind of, he addresses the constant replies are just inundating him as the notifications keep piling up. It's similar to what I said in the first Kisaragi Station, where there's just like too many cooks in the kitchen, like too many people commenting, trying to help the situation, but they're like throwing so much shit at the person that they just don't know. Like the person seems to either just be ignoring a bunch of the things, or like not registering it.
Mm. What I kind of found with this is like he's saying there's so many notifications, so please stop for a bit. Then immediately says, "Could someone please tell me what the hell I'm supposed to do?" Like that's literally all the people have been responding, telling him. Everyone's been telling him things to do, and then he bitches at people for telling them what to do, and then immediately asks what to do. Like he's just kind of putting himself in his own freaking circle of torment.
Well, it's kind of like I imagine, like if you're in that situation and you're freaking out, you're getting anxiety again, you're not coping with that situation very well, you're getting stressed, and you keep getting like, I've had this situation where like not even like high stress situation, just like a low stress. I have like a kind of just a nagging stress situation like going on, and I keep getting notifications from friends, and it even happens like when I have like notifications from friends, where like I just keep getting like I keep seeing like notifications and stuff, and I just like a couple of times I've just been tempted to just throw my phone at the wall because I do not want to like keep hearing the notifications or see so many fucking notifications.
Yeah.
So like I can kind of get his sudden like outburst here of just like, can you all just please stop, please? And then I think what we could have used here is like a timestamp of like how long like time happened between like his outburst of like telling people to like stop notifying him and stuff, and then like, I mean, could someone just tell me how the hell what the hell I'm supposed to do? Like have like a couple of minutes, like 5 minutes go by, and he comments again.
Yeah, like,
but yeah,
it doesn't seem to be all that many responses. Honestly, there's like 4 or 5 people maybe.
Now, yes, another thing that I think we could have gotten, this would have been so much better. I honestly think like Kawabana does a good job of like presenting it in a text format, but I think what would have been really cool and would have worked way better is if we had gotten like almost like a Photoshop screenshot of like the Twitter feed, so that you could see all of the likes and retweets that these comments were getting, because those also give you notifications. And I can tell, I can't speak from like 100% like personal situation, because I've never had that many like likes and retweets on something.
Mm-hmm.
But I have seen a lot of people on Twitter like post like when they post something and something goes viral, and you see that like that person has like 5,000 likes and like 475 retweets and like 650 like comments on one post, and they've just like, I'm muting this now because I can't handle the notifications.
Yeah.
Like that, I've had it happen a couple times with me, like on a smaller scale of like, I've had like somebody like 50 people like a piece of art that I posted on Twitter, and I was just like, I kept seeing notifications pop up like every couple of seconds, every couple of minutes. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
I'm glad
It
people
just
like
doesn't
it,
stop. You know, it's that weird, like, it's not that I'm frustrated at like it's getting likes, it's that I'm just getting frustrated at the constant like the notification pop up.
Yeah.
Like it's that weird, like, I'm not angry at you, I'm angry at this situation. Like
Angry
because
at the
of
system.
some stupid, yeah, or it's like I'm angry at this thing that is my brain doesn't like this part, like this thing that's happening to it. It's not that I don't like that you're commenting that you like this thing. Like I'm happy about that. But the negativity of like that my brain is transmitting to me about this constant barrage of pop-ups.
Yeah.
Like fuck pop-ups. But like yeah. Yeah, that's sort of the what I kind of got from this his outburst here is that like it's just like he's getting inundated by like the constant barrage of like either comments or like likes and retweets and stuff, because Twitter, like the doom scrolling, does that very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. I'll move on to the next thing here. So this is at by Kieran. Oh, I got a DM from Mai. Why won't the notification stop? Did someone reveal my personal information or my personal address? Ugh. Mai told me my name and address. It all feels so impersonal. Man, I'm tired. But things haven't been going so well for me lately anyway. Maybe I'd be happier if I disappeared. I do like that the longer Byakuran stays on the station itself, it seems like they are slowly losing themselves to the other side. Like he's losing his name. He's getting very tired. It's almost like, and as we find out by the end, like staying on the station was the good move for him. Like not following the tracks. But it's almost like the station itself, like that. It's still like it's almost like the secret heart, the secret end, the secret easy way of like, or not secret easy way, but like the secret way to escape the game or to beat the game is like the easy route. You think is to like follow the tracks, like the way you came, and like get back to the other side. But even that might have some like hurdles, or may not even be the right way. But the real way, the true way to like escape Kisaragi Station is to actually stay on the station. But the station's supernaturalness is like, if you can hold back, like roll your will saves and hold back the darkness and like the supernatural like effects of like that they're like slowly kind of ebbing at your own like identity because you're like staying on the station. If you can like hold back that long enough, you'll wake up back on a train in the real world that you'd gotten on in the first place. Did I make any sense with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just sounded like I was like I just like I took a step. It's like, did I make any sense with that like logic?
Well, it's sort of like Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
Where if you just stay in one spot for 15 minutes at the beginning, you see the end of the game.
Yeah.
But then If you don't stay put, bad things happen, and it takes a really long time to get out.
And it takes it takes an entire game worth of gameplay to actually finish the game. If you walk away from that situation. Yeah. Like the game is like it's very much like the Far Cry, like that. What was it, Far Cry 4 or 5?
Yep, 4.
4, yeah. It's in Far Cry 4. Yeah, it's very much that thing. It's like it's like everybody's like telling him to stay put, do not follow the tracks, and because he followed that part of the instructions, he was like losing himself. Maybe if he had burned some paper and something, he wouldn't be losing himself. Maybe that like the act of like burning the paper. The smoke maybe like clear out some of the supernatural effect, almost like smudging, I guess. Or I'm not 100%, but I think there is like some occult techniques in Japanese folklore and like spirituality that involves like burning paper strips. Though usually they have like some kind of like some kind of an incantation or spell or like sigil on them when you burn them.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
From my knowledge from animes, so
that is good knowledge.
Yeah. My next thing here, so this is at Akatsuki Yumi. Don't die, you idiot. Anyway, everyone's telling you to light some smoke, so do it. 420 blaze it. Kind of belated to the date for this episode, and a little too early for our episode number of 420. Like this is literally like this episode will be like getting posted literally in between the date and like the page and the episode.
Oh, really?
For yeah, like this is episode of I think I'm pretty sure, not to date us or anything, but this is gonna be episode 418. So
damn close.
We are like literally 2 weeks away from our episode 420, and I already have something planned for that one. So, spoilers. But yeah, I had to get that out because like as soon as anyway, everyone's telling you to light some smoke, so do it. Make your dreams come true. 420 blazing. All right, my stupidity aside. No, Tyler, we do not want to get high.
Are you saying that there's been a Towley ban?
Oh my god. Okay.
I watched those up
and
recently.
we've got nice. Okay, so I had to put in a little bit of silliness in this episode. But moving on to the next thing I have. So this is from Pikoko 16. No, you must stay awake. Is there nothing you can light on fire? Arson! It's the only way to get through Kisaragi Station. Burn it down!
Yep. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, I should continue with it. That was not my comment. That was just something that just spontaneously happened. Like a spontaneous fire. Is there nothing you can light on fire? And don't go near that tunnel. Or get in any stranger's car. And I just liked that there's a callback to the reference from the previous account, because, like I said earlier, like I like that this like the previous story, like the previous 2chan postings, they happened, and this story, is canonically like in the real world it happened as well. In a similar fashion, kind of like like several Twitter RPG like ARG stories where like it's somebody makes a Twitter account or uses their current Twitter account to kind of tell a creepy encounter through a series of postings and have like commenters like react to it and stuff like that and like kind of share in and kind of creatively collab like on the fly. And because, of course, like Kisaragi Station, the original 2chan posts are out there and people know about it. I like how this story is trying to lean into the whole like learning from the previous one's mistakes. Like, don't go through the tunnel. Don't get in a stranger's car. The only thing that because he does. He does not go down the same route that was it Hatsumi in the previous one?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, like where she goes, like she went followed the tracks and like following like the advice of the strangers on 2chan. Thought she was out, but then she got pulled back in. I like how like these two, like we have these two different accounts where like this person's like, all right, I've read that other story. I've been told a bunch of stuff from that story by some people that are on my Twitter following or my Twitter platform. I am not doing what that person did. I'm going to stay put. Man, I'm getting really tired. I'm just going to fall asleep, and everything will work out. And then the next thing here I have at by Kieran. Where are the occult forums? I'm seriously going to sleep. Those were his last words. ... Hashtag sleep. Yuzuki Gazelle. You shouldn't do that. Sunakan. That's kind of how you say it. It's like TSUNAKANNNNM. Don't go to sleep. Natsunyan04. Don't go to sleep. Byakurin. Ugh. I got a call from Yumi-chan and woke up. And like I'm in Odawara Station now. I had a look at my at all my tweets just now. It wasn't a dream. Or was it? Bwah. Inception music.
A little bit.
So hear me out here for a mundane thing here. Like, so assuming this isn't anything supernatural that happened, like coming up with a mundane explanation for all of this that isn't simply Byakurin was just faking all this for an ARG situation. So my mundane and yet still possibly creepy idea for like explanation for all of this is, what if he had been sleep texting this entire time?
Yeah.
Like he got on the train on the Odakyu line to Odawara Station, fell asleep on the train, and began texting and just began sleep texting because he's like he already said earlier that he was like glued to his phone. And me and Gamer both have like a friend, like we have empirical evidence of sleep texting, like
yes.
of not simply like sleep texting. Oh, haha, like short little like burst of it. No, prolonged sleep texting with when a buddy at a hotel at TennoCon was passed out from like he just crashed, like from sleep deprivation and like some drinking and stuff like that. And while the rest of us were in the hotel room, like gaming and like running a D&D game kind of thing, actually you can hear it on our Patreon. Actually, now
what
I
a
think
natural
about it,
plug.
it's plug. The episode, yeah, he was he was in one of the beds, and while we're all playing the game, he would sporadically like he wouldn't get up, but he'd like grab his phone from either his like chest or from like the bedside table, start typing into it, and then look at it like with his eyes closed, put it back down, and then go back to sleep. And he did that multiple times over the course of like a couple of hours.
It was weird.
So yeah, my idea here, my mundane explanation for all this that's still kind of creepy is like Byakurin was on the train sleep texting this entire situation. So it was a dream, but it was also a weird, spooky kind of like, why was he like sleep texting and like what the so basically a bunch of his Twitter posters and commenters on Twitter got to interact with him while he was in like a dream nightmare world. So
pretty much, like if we were responding to said friend that was texting at TennoCon,
yeah,
and he was also going through a weird fucked up dream at the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, instead of just I think he was like texting his girlfriend or something when
Probably.
he was doing it, or like sending like random messages to other people, like to people. Like, yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't a like singular event. It was a prolonged situation.
Mhm. He's
So
randomly
like
doing
it happens
noises for the
apparently.
characters that were in our game.
Yeah, yeah, it was, man, like, and I love how that yeah, that seems plausible in our day and age of like before in the before times we had just standard sleepwalking and sleep paralysis. Now we have, because of the internet age and the information age, we have sleep texting. God help us.
Sad time we
What
live
will
in.
come next? Yeah. But yeah, that's my actual thoughts. So Mikey, D stands for evil.
I'm going to continue with the ending since you're just on it.
Okay.
So compared to the first one, I didn't like this ending.
Was it too
Because, well, as you pointed out, it could just be sleep texting.
Yeah.
Or he just was, he just got out of it without doing anything. Like, in the previous one, the character actually does things. Like, they have a more inquisitive mind. Like, should I go down the track? Yeah, I'll go down the track. Oh, there's an old guy with one leg. I'm going to follow him and get into his car, and off into the mountains I go.
Scenes
Like,
changed.
Never. Hatsumi was never seen again.
Yeah. But in this, he just, oh yeah, I'm at a station. Oh, there's the what, ticket guard or ticket
the
booth
ticket,
or
like
whatever.
the ticket gate.
Yeah, the ticket gate, and it's like, I'm gonna go through it. I don't want to go through it.
Yeah, I might get in trouble even though there's nobody around. I might get in trouble. It's like, oh, I can't go over it. I might have to go under it. Fuck that.
Yeah.
That was the kind of like that was the attitude I got from him. Was when he was talking about
It was
that.
also because people
Was
were
just
telling
kind of
him
like,
not to as well.
oh, that's
People
true,
were also telling him to do everything. You should leave. You should go. You know, you should stay
Also,
awake. You should sleep.
He was, or like, do you have a lighter? It's like, no, I don't have a lighter. I'm gonna go to a vending machine. It's like, okay, I'm pretty sure in Japan they have a vending machine for everything. So, like, now, granted, Kisaragi Station might not have one of those like utility, like one of those like convenient, like or convenience vending machines.
Yeah.
Where that has like a lighter and or like smokes and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, like, it did kind of, for me, it did kind of come off like some of this was like, some of it was, if this was like assuming this is an ARG, or like assuming this is like all like this is completely made up, like on the fly kind of thing, and like, oh, my phone's acting funny. I can't take photos of this creepy place, but trust me, guys, it's really creepy. That kind of came off as like a little stale to me as well. Like sort of the same situation that like the previous one, like you were saying, Mikey, the person was a lot more inquisitive, a lot more creative. Like, not just for me, it's like not just in the narrative, but also like the out of narrative thing, like the more production thing side of it.
Yeah. So that's the big thing I didn't like about the ending. And
Okay.
I guess my main issue with this story is that nothing really happened.
Yeah, it does kind of fall into the dream situation.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it kind of tries to end with like it wasn't a dream because the posts are all there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did I ruin the story this time? with my mundane like suggestion?
Well, I had that mundane suggestion in my notes too, so
Okay.
I had that mundane suggestion in my notes too. So
So great minds. Wait, for once, the spheres converge. Our minds align.
My God.
I don't like this anymore, guys.
It's not natural.
Yeah. It's weird when we don't fight. Though, again, there's still time.
Yeah, that's true.
Gamer has to go.
Yeah. Don't worry. There will be combat to be had.
And then my next note here is very critically silly.
Hell yeah.
So it's
How dare.
don't go to sleep. Don't
No.
go to sleep.
Okay. Okay, not the route I thought you were going with that. For some reason I thought you were going to try. I thought Jeff the Killer, but I was not expecting the seagulls. The seagulls, and for anybody who either because it didn't pick up properly or you're not in the know, Mikey is referencing the bad lip reading song "Seagulls." At the end of the song,
he does say
Yoda
that. You're right.
Yeah. Yoda's just like, so what'd you think? It's like, it's kind of pitchy. You didn't like it? Listen, I'm not your friend. And then like Yoda's just like, don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep. And it gets like all like dark and creepy.
Yeah.
Like the music starts toning down a little bit as it goes on. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. Yoda's on that train. Or Yoda's in Twitter posting.
Yeah. That's the end of my actual thoughts.
Okay.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah.
All right, so right at the start, it says, after the original poster of Kisaragi Station thread disappeared, several others came forward stating that they had also found the eponymous station. When I read that, like, saying that kind of breaks the immersion for me right away. Because it's like, someone came up with this cool idea, it was popular and fun, so a bunch of others jumped on the bandwagon, which is, I guess, what happened, like, in real life. But in the lore of all this,
Yeah.
considering that this is apparently something that happened in real life, it doesn't make as much sense unless the first story was literally the first instance of Kisaragi Station happening, or at least the first one where someone that was grabbed by Kisaragi Station was able to talk about it on the internet.
Yeah. I think that's the situation because that one came out in 2004, I want to say. It's been a week, man.
Long time ago.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that one came out in 2004. Or like in the early 2000s. So like phone, like having mobile access to like the internet and phones and stuff like that was pretty new, even for that, even back then.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like that's what the situation is like Kisaragi Station probably existed prior to this. It's just nobody who ended up there had ever been able to really like, get word out, like message in a bottle, like a way out, like until the accessibility of the digital age.
Yeah. Which I'm okay with going with that, actually. But I don't know. It just kind of felt weird.
Okay.
This next part, I can hear what sounds like bells, but it's difficult to tell where it's coming from. It could be people. I don't want to live anymore. Well, I mean, I can't leave anyway. Sorry, I don't want to leave anymore, not live. Sorry, that was leave. I read that wrong. Like, when did he say that he wanted to leave previously to this? And why can't he leave? There's nothing saying that he can't. All that's here is he hears bells, can't tell where they're coming from, might be people, and then all of a sudden he says he doesn't want to leave, even though he didn't previously say that he wanted to leave the station. And there's no explanation of why he can't, even though he's saying he can't.
Yeah, I could have done with some like a little bit more explanation as to like why, like what's stopping aside from like his very non-committal desire to get over the ticket gate. What is obstructing him from like finding a way out of the station?
Yeah, because from what we're told,
Also,
it's
I'm
nothing.
curious. Like, yeah. Also, I am kind of curious. Like, is this station like because the previous one we had we had a solid grasp on like the location of Kisaragi Station, which was like grasslands and mountains around, and it's like a rural like train station. This one, honestly, it didn't feel that in this one. I kind of got the vibe that it was like a like it was like
Subway,
an underground, like yeah, like a if yeah, it was like either a more urban or underground urban train station rather than a rural one.
Yeah, me too.
But you don't really. He didn't say one way or the other, but for some reason, the way he was like describing certain things about the train station, like the train ticket gate, and some of that kind of reminded me more of like one of those those ticket gates that you see at the top of the escalators that go down to the actual like train station platform.
Yeah, because if it's an outside train station, it's outside. You can just walk anywhere. It's not gating you in there.
Yeah. And again, like I might just be because like I read this after watching a playthrough of that Ghost Train game, which does start you off down in a metro situation, like in one of the an underground subterranean like urban train station, and then Kisaragi Station itself in the game is suddenly the tracks out in like a rural location.
Another way it could be is it could be an elevated train track that goes through the city. So when you get out, you're in this elevated section that is above all the goings on of the city underneath, and you have to go through like turnstiles and stuff to get to the stairs to get back down onto the main road.
Yeah, it seemed way like that Kisaragi Station was way more modern in this one than presented in the previous ones.
Yeah. The old one, it could be like a Wild West story for all you know, aside from the phone. But
yeah. Also, sorry, not to cut you off. And there isn't anything wrong. I just want to like put this up. Like, there isn't anything wrong with like Kisaragi Station being this like kind of like it fluctuating or like it changing eras or like locations like that. Because again, it seems like it's a liminal space. It's a space between worlds. So like it could be like morphic, like metamorphic, where it like changes. It changes depending on the person that's there. It's always like this abandoned, creepy, dark lit train station of varying types.
Yes,
that it changes to. But I do prefer the rural one to it being an urban one. But like there's nothing wrong with it being changed, because like change is good sometimes, especially when it comes to like creative outlets. But sorry, I'll stop taking over your spot.
It's fine. So back to what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So did we ever get what the hell the bells were? You hear something that sounds like bells? It's mentioned once and then it's gone.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's like something to do with like maybe the like similar to the drums and the festival stuff that was happening in the previous,
which also wasn't explained,
encounter. Well, yeah, but I mean in the bells, like hell's bells, like literally like the bells of hell, or like drums of like some kind of. To me, like I was thinking of, like, every time I heard that, like I was thinking of like the drums of hell, or like some like again like the spirit world.
So in the stores, is there always an audio-based random noise that never gets explained? We're 2 for 2 so far.
Yeah, so far, yeah. I mean, that's definitely how I'd present it in if I was to do another story. Like, I'd have like I hear fluting. I hear a guitar. I hear some guitar riffs. Some the doom music's kicking in.
That's pretty sick. I'd be fine with going to that station.
Yeah, that Kisaragi Station, where the doom. It's like that YouTube, like that trend that was happening on YouTube for like last year, was like when the doom music kicks in.
Well, that's still a thing.
Yeah. I'm hearing some sick guitar riffs going down that tunnel, bruh.
But yeah, I'll move on from there.
Yep.
So there's a timetable or something, but it's so faded I can't read it. Paper's all torn and ragged. I can't believe he's a bad guy. Also, I shouldn't have looked at it. Oh, I found a vending machine. The address has been scraped off. Are you fucking serious? I'm going to kill someone. So, first off, why shouldn't he have looked at the torn paper? He didn't say what was on it. He just says he shouldn't have looked at it.
So maybe it's like the Japanese graffiti that he found that wasn't Japanese and it hurt him.
No,
or
there's a timetable or something, but it's so faded I can't read it. The paper's all torn and ragged. I shouldn't have looked at it.
Okay, again, I'm trying to be devil's advocate here. I'm sorry. I'm not actually trying to fight.
I told you there would be combat during my section.
Mortal Kombat. It's funny. It's like I'm standing right while I'm talking to you, and like I literally went into a Mortal Kombat stance.
I literally went into Scorpion's old school stance from MK4.
I definitely went into a reptile stance. So. Anyway, back to the story. So back to the devil's advocate here. Maybe the reason why he's I don't wish I hadn't looked at that. Maybe it's I wish I hadn't got my hopes up. I could find a times table about this. But it was nothing. Fuck. I'm now just getting more depressed.
That's fine if it said that, but it doesn't. So I'm just confused.
No, yeah. Also, I'm sorry. I keep butting into your section here, but I like and I don't like that. The timetable. I found a timetable, but it's super faded. I can barely see anything. Here's a vending machine. Oh, it's the name's scraped off. And so I like that it's they're coming up with ways to why nothing's because in a horror movie or in a horror story, of course in the other world all the things that would help the person are not going to be available. But at the same time, I'm thinking it's how convenient.
A little bit.
Just I am the train station between two worlds. I'm I like some of the things that are popping in here, but at the same time, it's a little too convenient, don't you think?
Also, in regards to that address, what was he hoping? Yeah. Where was he hoping to read this address on the vending machine?
Maybe it's property of this train station, at this address, in case vending machine is stolen.
Maybe I don't know vending machines enough to know if they do that.
I mean, I know that in Japan, vending machines are a huge thing.
Yeah.
So, again, legitimately see, the comment I said earlier where it's vending machines for everything.
So it might be my own ignorance, because, it straight up says, I found a vending machine, the address has been scraped off. In regards to the vending machine, I guess.
Yeah. My guess was either it's property of the station itself, and here's the address in case stolen.
Yeah.
Or it's the address of the vending machine company.
Yeah, I suppose.
But that's not going to help the guy. But
no, he was just looking for any information.
Yeah.
And also, in regards to it being torn and ragged and scraped off, I'm okay with it personally, because in this situation, God knows how long this train station's been here. So, time has basically just withered it all away.
Yeah, just it's eroded and again, with I have a perfect example. Paper, ink on paper does fade with when exposed to light.
Mm-hmm.
After a couple of we had a map at our cottage. We had a map of the island that sat on my grandmother at my grandmother's in my grandmother's room that had exposure to a large window, and the sun over the course of 10 years and this was a map a historical map of all the different properties that have been allocated on the island, and it was we framed it all nice and so that we discovered over the course of 10 years the sunlight was actually fading the ink on the paper of the map.
Yeah.
So we actually had to get a new map, and we had to install an anti-sun screen kind of thing, a special glass that would not allow the solar radiation to damage the ink and the document
Mhm.
that was behind it. It was like, oh wow, yeah, light radiation actually is kind of harmful in various intensities to ink on paper when it's left alone for like who knows how long. So
For sure. But I'll move on from there. I tried calling someone, but the phone was busy. What is this? Have they set their phone to refuse my calls? So in the previous story, the phone worked completely, just with just all the people she could call couldn't help because no one could figure out where she was, basically, which was great. I like that.
Yeah.
Just getting the busy signal constantly in this one is a lot more cliche. It's kind of the equivalent of the entity, quote unquote, cutting the phone lines, you know?
yeah, I'm actually kind of curious here. Let me take a look here. The Ghost Train game by Chilla's Art. I want to see when that came out because there is a phone part of that game where they're able to get through to the people, to different people at a phone booth, but none of the people say anything it's all like stuff from their past. It's not has nothing to do with like their current situation of being like stuck in the woods. So I'm just that came out in that actually was released in 2020. So that is not this story, this one specifically by Kieran came out in like 2011ish, I think. So yeah, this one had that game came out a lot later. So it wasn't a potential like the game they saw that in the game and they decided to incorporate that.
No.
It might, maybe the other way around or something. I don't know. But yeah, it is kind of a little bit of an indiscrepancy of like the phones.
Yeah, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
And it's, in my opinion, it doesn't hit as well. And maybe it's because, like you said, each Kisaragi station, is tailored to each person or something. Like it's a little different every time. Maybe it's not specifically tailored to the person, but it's a different station you're going to each time. And because this one is either underground or above the street or whatever, it's in a more modern setting. So in that more modern setting, they actually have like a jamming sort of protocol to phones, where previously it was an outside train station. So maybe that was a ye oldie kind of train station. So that's why the phones worked completely perfectly. Or it's simply the undergroundness of it that the signal can't get out.
Yeah. You actually brought up something. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but I actually really like your sort of addition to my thing of like being the Kisaragi station being metamorphic, it being personalized to the soul that is stuck there. So like in the previous one, it was a rural location, but it was out in the open, and like she could contact her people, or she could contact her family and loved ones, but they couldn't do anything about it. In this one, like so maybe and that was out in like in a prefecture that is a little bit more rural than like Tokyo. Like this one's set in like the guy got on a train in Tokyo to go home and ended up in this much more urban, it seemingly much more urban underground environment than the previous story's version. So yeah, I think it's like Silent Hill. Like it's a personalized hell you get trapped in. Based on your own on your own like sort of like unconscious aesthetics. Like maybe that girl that Hatsumi was used to the rural like train rides, hence why it appeared that way, and then by Kieran ended up like his day to day is on the trains in Tokyo and in the city and stuff like that. So that's why it appeared like that kind of train station situation.
Yep, could be. Yeah, going into this, I did not think it was going to be completely different. I kind of was expecting to be the same station, and it would be a different take on how he gets out of it, or if he does, you know?
Yeah, honestly, same. I was not expecting this to be. countering various things that we liked in the first one.
Yeah. So then, moving on, Byakuran says, "Oi, Kisaragi Station was just a joke. Hooray! So where the hell am I?" So right at this point, is he admitting that he's currently joking about Kisaragi Station?
Yeah, I did not like that. I did not like that that line.
Yeah, where is he basically
post.
just saying like, I'm just joking, so where the hell am I? Like he's just normal lost, not actually in Kisaragi Station. But even so, when he says this, no one responds to it directly. They just continue giving him advice. No one says like, "Oh, are you fucking kidding me? We were worried about you," or anything like that.
Yeah, it's such it's such a weird out of place comment that, like, again, best case scenario, like for the narrative anyways, like for the fiction side of it, best case scenario, his character is in denial that he's like trying to, like, like grab at straws that aha, this is the joke, can't be real, like this is like I'm not in Kisaragi State, I'm not in this haunted hell station, I'm just lost somewhere, like ha 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 ha. Worst case scenario though, this is a flub and like he's broken character.
But if that was the case, he'd be saying Kisaragi Station is just a joke. If he's referring to the previous one that happened and people are saying that he's there, he'd be saying, no, Kisaragi Station is just a joke. It's not real. When he's saying was just a joke, it makes it sound like he's saying that he was putting up like a false front of what's going on, and now he's dropping it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was confusing and weird.
And I also can't, and unfortunately, because this is a translation from something, like I can't, we don't know 100% like how accurate the tense issue there is like was, like it might be is, or it might be was. It's just depending on how how the original Japanese was translated.
Mm-hmm.
But like the version we got, it does kind of make it, the version that we read, it does kind of poke it as like, is this just did this guy just like break character? And everyone else is like, no, don't break character.
Yeah.
Like Reddit no sleep rules.
Pretty much. But moving on from there.
Yeah.
Byakuran again saying, everyone's telling me to get out, then not get out. To sing, then not to sing. What the hell is he talking about? Like, no one said anything about singing before. What the hell is he talking about here?
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah. It's a singular line talking about singing, and then that's it. Sing is mentioned twice in this.
Weird.
I think.
Maybe it's like a... Yeah, unless we're like missing some like missing a post or two that like somebody said, but like... Yeah, based on the version we read, it's like what's singing? Like nobody said singing.
Not at all. Basically, people have either been telling him to get out of the station, stay in the station, light something on fire, and stay awake. Those are like the 4 things that people are telling him. Nothing to do with singing.
Yeah.
I'm confused. Like he does kind of go down a little bit of a spiraling insanity situation. This might be it's starting to come in where like he's hearing people or seeing people responding to things that aren't actually being responded.
Yeah, that would.
But that's also me making up a lot of stuff to try to justify something weird in the story.
That's you. That's you making an ass of you and me, sir. But honestly, I'd like to see that. Like that would be really like, because it does seem like this one's a lot more hectic or chaotic from his on Byakuran's side of things, not like less so. Like, whereas in the previous story, Hatsumi was sort of like being very straightforward, and the commenters were just barraging her with like a bunch of like random stuff, and like as commenters and stuff do. It seemed in this one, Byakuran is just as bad for like saying random shit.
Yeah, he's the mouthpiece on this one.
And I don't know how I like it. I don't think I like it as much because of that, because it's almost too chaotic, or it's a little too random and hectic because of that. Like it's harder to follow than I guess in a way, like hard to follow our narrator for all intents and purposes, like our protagonist here, than it was in the previous one.
Yep. And right after this whole sing to not sing thing, there was one response after that saying once it gets bright, you should be able to see your surroundings. Think it'd be better if you didn't move around too much. And then it goes straight back to Byakuran. Like no one mentions anything. I would be fine with the singing if someone just questioned it, because I'm questioning it. So shouldn't other people also be questioning it? I am not insane, am I?
Yeah. I mean, that's debatable, but
yeah, of course.
In this case, I don't think you are. I think there's definitely something like loopy here, and whether or not it's the translation issue or if it's just like we're missing some content, or the character breaks character, or the person breaks character in their little like ARG or whatever this is. Yeah. I'm honestly with you on a lot of your points here.
But I'll move on. This next one is from Akatsuki Yumi, his girlfriend, who says, "Don't die, you idiot. Anyway, everyone's telling you to light some smoke, so do it." So this person is Kieran's girlfriend, and thus far has only messaged twice and 3 times in the entire story. It's kind of odd that all these random people seem to care way more about his well-being than she does. Like, yeah, the randos seem to have high ranks in knowledge occult or something for all this stuff. But shouldn't she be responding with legit, real-world worries and concerns about his well-being? About just the fact he's gone and they don't know where he is? Like, she doesn't seem to give a shit.
I do think that there was some hinting that she was like trying to get a hold of him through the phone, like without Twitter, and then has like just dropped in like afterward, like when she realized that wasn't working, like he like
yeah. So the third one is like where he says like someone tried to call and it was just static or whatever, and then just silence. Yeah, and then she says, "Yeah, I called you, and when you picked up, there was only silence. What the fuck?" Like that's the long and short of it.
Yeah. So I am surprised that like his girlfriend isn't like you're saying, like I am surprised as well that his girlfriend wasn't contributing more to like trying to help him through the Twitter, or at least like bringing up this like I've been trying to contact him, like maybe have a little bit more of that, like have a little bit more engagement.
Yeah, considering she's like his girlfriend right now, I feel the way that this story is with the characters, it should be 2 main characters, him and her, talking to the randoms, trying to figure out what to do. Or like, his like mother or father showing up on Twitter if they twit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. That the fact that they specifically mentioned that this Twitter handle is the girlfriend, I'm like, okay, well, this person's going to be important. No, not at all.
Not really.
They're just there.
She barely shows up. Yeah, she comments 2 more times. That's about it. Near the end of the story, near the end of the transaction of the dialogue.
Yep. And I'll move on from there. So then we get onto the thing where he passes out, #sleep. You shouldn't do that. And he wakes up saying, "I got a call," and he's here, and all the tweets are here. It wasn't a dream. So when I read that, I literally quietly said out loud, "Really? Fuck you." When I read that, I literally said that. It just came out. Like, this might as well be like a bad video game creepypasta at this point, because it wasn't real. It was all in his head, and there were no effects to him in the real world. I really wish I didn't read past when the first 2 commenters told him not to sleep. But like, at this point, why? Like, why did everyone tell him not to sleep as well? Because if he just went to sleep from the get-go, he would have just woke up and everything would have been fine. So everyone telling him not to sleep was just everyone telling him to stay in the hell longer. Right?
We need somebody to chronicle the exposure to this other world.
Yeah, that's what it kind of felt like.
Yeah, I guess.
Him sleeping was him winning. He turned the game off.
Yeah, he won the game by not playing. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, it's like the only winning move is not to play.
Kind of. It's
Yeah.
more along the lines of like
Mhm.
most Pokemon creepypastas. It's all in the game, aka all in the dream. When he turns the game
Yeah.
off, aka waking up, he's normal. And he just, that was a creepy thing I saw, but that's about it because it was just a dream.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I honestly, I kind of get you. Like, it's if I was to like, it reminded me of like a couple of the Twitter feeds that I follow that are like like legitimate, like they are ARGs. Like, there's a Twitter handle I follow right now that's like the sun hasn't gone. The sun went down 2 months ago. We're currently like, and like I'm like, it's a weird random like people are like speculating like in the ARG part of it. It's like, is this like a Twitter feed from like an alternate universe where like the sun never the sun never rose back
Isn't there
up
long
and
periods?
like weird shadow creatures?
Isn't there long periods of darkness like up in the Arctic or something?
No, yeah, but this is like in America, like in down in like the like in the actual like United States, not like Alaska or something.
So he says.
Yeah, well, yeah, again, and like that the whole, well, that's the thing. Like, it's a weird, spooky premise of like, is this person stuck in like another version of the world, and like we're just getting this Twitter feed in our universe, sort of like the other internet,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's internet from another dimension, kind of thing. And yeah, they've been playing it up, and they've been whereas that one does like photos and video that they clearly do at night, but at least they do like some production work and stuff like that of like having to deal with these like shadow demons that have started like manifesting and like appearing in people, and like basically hunting down the survivors in the shadow, in this this like sunless world. And they're bringing it up, and people are like commenting of it and reacting to it and posting online and so, and like speculating, theory crafting, all that kind of stuff. This one kind of feels like the kind of like the ARG is like, oh yeah, I want to do that, except I'm just kind of, I'm on the train and like, oh, Kisaragi Station, I remember Kisaragi Station. I'll just start typing like, I'm stuck in Kisaragi Station, and I can't take photos because my phone's being all wonky, so I can't take like cool photos of Kisaragi Station with my phone. And then like, my train's up, so I guess it's, I woke up. It turns out I'm in Otawara now. That's weird. Like, it feels like sort of the cheaper, like it was a spontaneous thing that this guy did. That was similar to those other ARG Twitter posts that happened, but it was like so spontaneous that like they sort of like didn't have a whole lot of budget, in quotes. Like, didn't have a lot to do. It was just really random and spontaneous, and they just sort of like, it was like improv theater almost, the way they did it. And then they ended it, and it was done. Like, it was just a quick and dirty kind of thing. So yeah, I can kind of see where you're going. It's like, and I think that's probably why like it feels like that, is because it was probably done that way, where it was just like a spontaneous thing. Like, well, I got a long train ride, I might as well do this silly thing on Twitter.
But yeah, that's about it for my notes.
Okay. Going into my final thoughts, or going into final thoughts with mine, sort of taking what I just said into consideration here. It's cool to have the different like setup of the different venues and platform, like the different like media, like 2chan versus Twitter, a rural train station platform versus a more urban one, kind of that we got. The situation, like the reaction to like the situation, like rather than like following the tracks back the way you came, just staying in place, like staying at the station and like seeing what happens there. I liked that kind of stuff in the story. However, as we've kind of been going through this, yeah, it's the holes and the problems have kind of creeped into my view on this. It does kind of feel a little like sort of just even more spontaneous, I think, than the original posting. There's some things that like could have been added that would have made it so much more like you don't need to have photos, you don't have to have video feed, even though Twitter would allow that. But like just extra details of like the setting to kind of like help build up what you're doing. A lot of the chaotic, random, hectic energy that Baikirin occasionally had sort of pulled me out of able to follow them in sort of a straightforward way. Like he was more rando than some of the than what I would have expected from like commenters.
Mhm.
It was like the roles were reversed for some reason in this one. I like what a fair amount of this does, but at the same time, I think the first postings of Kisaragi Station on 2chan was far better. So I'll give it like a partial recommendation because it does kind of like try to build off it, but it seemed a little too flat compared to what we read last time.
Mhm.
So, Mikey, D stands for evil.
So, my major issue with this is that the guy goes to the Kisaragi station, does nothing, and nothing happens.
Yeah, he goes
Like,
home.
yeah.
It is literally that Far Cry 4 ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He triggered an alternate ending. Yeah. Sorry.
So, at least with the first one, which we're comparing it to because it's in the same series,
Yeah.
the character in the first one does things. And it would make more sense to me if the Twitter people basically said do this or do this and had conflicting and he had to decide what to do and then actually did something.
Yeah.
That might give us a story, but as it stands, he does nothing. He talks about doing things, but does nothing.
And then gets really sleepy.
He fell asleep.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
So overall, I can't recommend this.
Fair enough. And Gamer.
So I came into this with an open mind and optimistic. Like, this could be great because I like the first story, right? Like, I came into this with thinking, like, like playing N64 Smash Brothers, for years. And then Smash Brothers Melee comes out. It's like, oh, Smash Brothers was awesome. And then, damn, the sequel's way better, right? That's what I wanted. What I got, for me at least, felt more like playing Perfect Dark on the N64. Where it's like, oh, this is the best shooter forever. Like, in years. Revolutionizing everything. And then Perfect Dark Zero comes out. Yeah.
Oh, still a little bitter about that, huh?
A lot of it, actually. But the only good that came out of Perfect Dark Zero was Joanna Dark looked awesome, and the stupid announcer saying shit like killing harmonic orchestra for a kill streak. Just the dumbest kill streak ever, but it's hilarious, so it's fine. So, long story short, I wanted to like this, but it just didn't do it for me, basically. All the things I liked about the previous story were taken out from this one, and the main character didn't really have a real personality, unlike the previous one, where we were constantly saying, like, oh, she didn't want to bug people because she's just too nice and she's too, like, too mousy or whatever the word for that is. I don't know. Yeah. Either way, this character didn't listen to any advice, where the previous one did, at least somewhat, because she made decisions. And heck, this character literally yelled at them for trying to help. And then told them to help right after saying that. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Like, I just realized the character from Kisaragi Station, like the first, like the 2chan postings, actually engaged with the posters.
Yes.
Whereas this one, there's like engagement in that, like they yell at some of them, or like they kept like knowing, or like saying no to the premise, in terms of like improv, like why couldn't he have like yes and like again from a standpoint of this is fictional, why couldn't he be yes anded as like let me see if I can find a lighter. I think I found a lighter. I need some paper and kind of built off the suggestions that were being presented to him. But he was just kind of like, "Lol, I'm stuck here. Maybe it's better if I just stay here. I don't care anymore. I'm getting tired."
And I hate to say it, but he straight up found paper. He said he found like the thing on the wall that's like all faded and you can't read it. Yeah. He had paper. All he had to do was find something to make a fire, and he could have done that. And no one mentioned that. And again, the stuff with his girlfriend didn't really seem to give a shit about him. The phone reacted different here compared to the previous one, which was confusing to me at the time. The twist of it being all a dream really annoyed me. And most importantly, this didn't really add to the lore of the first story, in my opinion. This simply could have been that, like... Sorry, what am I writing here? This story simply could have been that he was told about the previous Kisaragi station years and years ago, the character. And then he forgot about it.
Yeah.
But during a nightmare, that information resurfaced enough to be spun into like a nightmare scape in his head. And then that's how he had the information, not necessarily that it was a real thing or it's connected to the previous one, just that he's picking up his own like fan theory continuation of what may or may not have actually happened.
Yeah, just like his own personal dream version of it. And even if he if it was all sleep texting, interacting with him in that way, it's like that's interesting, but it's like, again, still a dream.
And I get it. Nightmares are scary, but at the end of it all, it's back to business as usual. And there's no consequences from anything that happened here. So, all in all, I do not recommend this. Read the first one. It was a singular, isolated event. She was able to contact the outside world, and all other events of Kisaragi Station were able to be like media blacked out, in my opinion, unless there's some other ones that actually hold up to the first one a lot better than this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'll have to. I'll keep an eye out for any other Kisaragi Station stories that pop up. Might end up being like a whole thing. We'll see. But all right. So yeah, I guess really just a 0.5 kind of, and like even mine, like I liked some of the time dilation stuff. I forgot to bring that up as well. Like I did kind of like that, where it was like the time was different in that world because it added a little bit more to like the liminal state of the of that reality where Kisaragi Station is. But again, a lot of it is just kind of ruined by some of the alterations that they try to like deviate away from what made the original stuff good.
I have a question in regards to your recommendation.
Yeah.
Me and Mikey talking about things leading up to the recommendations, did we change your opinion for the better or worse, or were you good to go with that from the get-go?
Yeah, but I mean that honestly, like that happens like on the regular. Like I don't like I expect to go in here and like maybe have my opinion change, maybe not, like for better or worse. So it doesn't like for this one like and I've been getting better at like internalizing that.
Not being broken when we don't like something you like.
Yeah, not taking it personally, which like has kind of come up a couple times, but it's fine. But with this one, like I can get it because when I started this like with my notes and stuff, I was going to give it a full recommendation. But as we kept going, it's like even when I put that down on paper, I was like kind of iffy about it because I tend to be like more of like the bright side of life, the bright side of creepy. So yeah, like there's things that the story for me like it did better or not didn't do better, but it did like good and I liked them. But there's also a lot of the stuff that you guys brought up and like even I helped contribute to that as well, like or I helped bring up as well. That this story like this one is sort of a pale shadow compared to the original 2chan posting of Kisaragi Station. Like yeah, I like I do kind of like the metamorphic idea. Like the thing that you proposed, like you even brought up something that I liked about it, or that made it better for me. Like the idea that this is like Kisaragi Station is a personalized hell for all the souls that end up.
The problem
there.
to that is that is headcanon for us.
Yeah, no, that's true. Also, like I liked something that the story did that I actually enjoyed, and I thought actually helped contribute to the Kisaragi lore, and didn't ruin the story from the previous thing, was the time dilation. I kind of liked the time the alteration in time. Like it maybe like it's perpetually dark in that world, or like it's never going to be night when you're in Kisaragi Station.
Sounds like a tagline.
It's always going to be like kind of over.
Sounds like a tagline. It's never going to be night when you're in Kisaragi Station, and then like the logo of it goes on the screen.
Yeah, it's like neon signs stuff. Yeah, but yeah, no. It didn't ruin, like, your opinions didn't like 100% sway me, but they do. I am an absorbing person, yes. So I do take things into consideration as they happen. So,
and I never want to change your opinion on it or ruin something for you. It's just,
I know
if I need to give my opinion, I have to give it,
Yeah, and I just have to remember that it's not nothing personal. It's just we are different people. So what makes variety is variety is the slice of life.
It's the spice of life, say. Actually.
So moving on to the final. So with all that out of the way, 0.5 out of 3. Kind of tentative 0.5 out of 3. So if you're out there thinking that you want to do a Kisaragi story, use the first postings as your example, and less so of the Twitter feed or the Twitter post one. In our opinion.
And again, there were good things of it in it. It's just they, in my opinion, removed a lot of the things that made the first one great.
Yeah. Yeah, we were like really jazzed, and then we read this one. But anyway, I digress. If you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below where this gets posted, whether it be on Podbean, Facebook, or YouTube. Not going to do the Tumblr thing anymore because I haven't really been keeping up to date on the Tumblr stuff. So, fair enough. And Tumblr's kind of fallen by the wayside. Tumblr has become a liminal space in itself. It's just become like a ghost. So, and if you like to talk to us, you can send us messages on Twitter. Like Byakuran, like the Byakuran, like this creepypasta, you can talk to us on Twitter. Mikey is at the E stands for evil. The Gamer in Yellow is at the Gamer in Yellow, but without the W because his name is very long. And I, of course, and I'm at Review Cultist. And if you'd like to send us emails, you can go to Patreon. Nope. Wow. COVID, man. It changes you.
Another tagline.
I can't use that. I legitimately cannot use that as an excuse. This is me just regularly. If you'd like to send us an email, you can go to aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com, where you can leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, Japanese spooky tales. You creep it, we'll peep it. Yeah! And if you'd like to help support our show, you can go to Patreon, select the Packer tier, Packers. Select the backer tier you'd like to support us at. We have $2 and $5 tier with special episodes, early access, extra content. To our patrons that are helping support the show, thank you guys immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay. And as always, we very much appreciate that. And to our listeners and the authors and the creators of the stories, thank you immensely, because without your listenership, it'd be like screaming into the void. And without your, for better or worse, without your content that you post online to creep out people or to like have people react to, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we'd have nothing to talk about. So thank you. And actually, I also want to put out a thank you to Chill's Art and the Kawabana website for Chill's Art for creating these crazy, cool, creepy, like they're super short, but like 2-hour games, but like they're all based around like creepy Japanese stories and Japanese ghost stories and creepypastas and urban legends, and they're really cool. And for Kawabana, for diving in and like translating creepy ghost stories and Japanese creepypastas for English speakers to enjoy and learn about. So thank you all out there in Internet land. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigor Mortis. Sleep well.